So do you think you have a good chance at changing the hat policy?
I'm not entirely certain myself, but our principal approached me the other day and he said, "Your name is John, right?" And I said, "Yeah." And he's like, "You went to the district for the hat policy?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "You must have done a really good job because we talked about it in our meeting last night." And I said, "Really?" And he said, "Yeah, it's happening."
It sure is cold outside for a farmer's market. Luckily, Salt Lake City put one inside the Rio Grande called the Winter Market.
So the winter market in downtown Salt Lake City has been going for about 3 months now, and it's a bi-weekly market, so it's every other Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. located in the
First it was Angry Birds, then Temple Run, but now a new game dominates the app marketplace. Flappy Birds, created by Dong Nguyen, has caused teens at Payson High School to fall back on classwork because of how addictive the game is.
I think that
it's led school districts across the nation to make rules where kids can't wear hats in school. I went around Maple Mountain and asked their faculty what they thought about it.
Mainly it's a district policy, but it's also because you can hide things in your hats, and we have to be able to identify who is ever.
This year, report cards are being handed out, but this time, it's not for the students. Schools are receiving letter grades, and the results are causing massive backlash.
Grades are based on student growth and student performance on state tests in language arts, math, and science. High schools were also judged by their graduation rates. Schools who
The hat policy has been an issue for many teachers and students ever since the policy has been in effect.
Most students know that hats aren't allowed to be worn during school, but some still try to get away with it by wearing them during class and through the halls.
So we decided to ask some teachers and students their opinions on the hat policy.
How do you feel about the hat policy?
I think that a lot of students don't always understand it, but I think that it's just kind of a district rule and you have to follow it.
How do I feel about the hat policy? It's a complicated question. I think that hats do not affect learning, and if it were up to me, I would not have the hat policy that we do.
Well, personally, I don't often wear hats, but I think it's a bigger issue for teachers to go out of their way and say, take off your hat, rather than just letting it happen.
Recently, a student from Salem Hills High School, John Hill, approached the district about this issue, trying to change their minds about the hat policy.
So I understand that you went to the district recently. How did that go?
Wonderful, actually. Personally, I think 3 of the district members approached us after the presentation, and they hugged us, said that was wonderful, you guys did a great job. The points were wonderful, and the reactions were great, so overall it was positive.
So do you think you have a good chance at changing the hat policy?
I'm not entirely certain myself, but our principal approached me the other day and he said, "Your name is John, right?" And I said, "Yeah." And he's like, "You went to the district for the hat policy?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "You must have done a really good job because we talked about it in our meeting last night." And I said, "Really?" And he said, "Yeah, it's happening."
How do you feel about one of your own students approaching the district about the hat policy?
I'm grateful that they did it. I thought they did a great job. I've heard a lot of positive feedback from the superintendent, and they went over and did a good job. So hopefully they're looking at it and they'll make some adjustments.
Can one student change the district's mind about a policy that's been around for years? It's happened before with the facial hair policy, and it could happen again. Don't forget that the students influence the district's decisions more than you think, so don't be afraid to try to make a change.